about this whole patriarchy thing because I had a conversation with a young lady this morning, and the tractor flipped over, which made our commute damn near impossible. Actually, had to reroute and turn around and take her to the train station. But we had a conversation, and we got on the topic of patriarchy and feminism and all that stuff, and it's almost like talking to the same person just in a different body, because these people must read from the same goddamn book, and they freaking study it from cover to cover, and they don't have an original thought in their fucking brain. And it's, and I'm not trying to get down on her because it's really not her fault. She's been indoctrinated. I can't get mad at her, which is another reason why I still do these conversations, even though they're lackluster and they're kind of dangerous, to be perfectly honest with you. But I have these conversations because I don't want to paint women in a fucking box and say they can't think, they can't be unlocked, they can't learn something different, they can't, hear an inspiring word or an enlightening viewpoint. I don't want to put them in that box, and I'm not entirely sure if I'll ever run across the next Karen Strawn, who just needs that one enlightened thought to change her views entirely. I mean, I think that's happened to, what's that lady's name? I forget her name, who did the Red Pill movie. The same thing happened to her. She did a documentary and just to hear the other viewpoints, she struggled for quite some time to hold on to what she believed, because for so long she believed one way, right? And because she never really had those thoughts challenged, or she never looked into the other side, or experienced what men have, dealt with in this country, she never ever thought to think outside the box. And it was her doing that documentary that changed all that for her. And I think that if this woman can be changed, who was completely a feminist, she was straight feminist, can change her viewpoint by just listening to a number of men with opposing views, I think that women have the potential to do that everywhere. And again, I'm not against enlightening someone. Even if it's dangerous and risky. I mean, everything that's important is dangerous. Let's be honest. So it's dangerous and it's risky, but I don't want to put a woman in that box. I don't. I believe that women are special creatures. I do. I believe they're special creatures. And not special like, not special creatures like, they're mystical and, all this other bullshit. No. Fuck that. I'm talking about special in the way that they think. Okay, they're special in the way they think because it's much easier for a woman to be indoctrinated, right? Because she has to, her very nature is to be agreeable. So because of that, I think there's a handicap there. When you look at, that's a better word, handicap, not special. I think there's a handicap there when dealing with women, because a woman is almost bound to be agreeable. She's bound to try to fit in because that's how she survives, right? She will run from a very difficult conversation or a controversial situation because she needs to survive. It's in her nature to do so. So I take that into account when I have conversation with them. With all that said, I think I enlightened this young lady, and the way I enlightened her is because I hit her with some heavy points that she didn't really think about before. And one of the major points that I hit her with was, I think the problem isn't the patriarchy. I think it's a whole bunch of privileged people who think there's a problem. And I think that's the problem, because they're trying to solve something that doesn't need to be solved. They're trying to fix a problem that doesn't exist. This whole oppression of women, that's not the case. Yes, it was hard for women, but it was hard for men as well. As a matter of fact, it was just as hard on men that it was on women, because men had to be the ones that go out there and make it happen, right? It was hard as hell. And for all you women out there that think that what is her name? Albright Moore, whatever the fuck her freaking name is that feminism is the reason why you got your right to vote. Feminism is the reason why you got all the strides that you have today. Feminism is the reason why you are liberated and all that other bullshit. If there wasn't for the technical advances of birth control, tampons, plumbing, transportation, and all the wonderful things that allow you to live safely in this country, your fucking ass will still be in the damn kitchen. All right? It wasn't feminism, it was technology, sweetheart. And I can't stand when I hear a woman scream and shout, we got the right to vote because of feminism. No, you didn't. You got the right to vote because men felt the reason, men knew they can control it. That's how you got the fucking right to vote. It ain't because no damn woman yelled at the top of her lungs, told them something, oh, we deserve the right to vote. No. They knew they can control your vote, so they gave it to you. Simple. It was much easier to control your vote than your husband's vote. So they got you to think that it's feminism. That's the reason why you got the right to vote. Nah, that's not true. And another thing, this is what kills me. If you're so oppressed or was so oppressed, how the hell did you get the right to vote in the first place without firing one single shot? Without stabbing one politician that was in power? Because if my memory serves me correctly, just about every dictator on the planet who ever was overthrown had to be overthrown by force. There wasn't these political democracy views and these let's talk it out and let's work it through type conversations. No, the only way to defeat a dictator was to kill him. That was it. You could not beat him any other way. He will not give you what you want because he didn't give a fuck about you. He didn't care that you suffered. He didn't care that you was struggling, you was hungry, and you was dying of pestilence and diseases. He didn't care. That's how he got overthrown, by a gun. And guess who did the overthrowing? Men. Weren't you. You wasn't, putting on armor and taking up arms to overthrow the fucking government. Men were doing that shit. Okay? So stop with this bullshit that the patriarchy is a problem. Okay. Riddle me this. Would you be willing to undergo, let's say, how can I put this? Let's do something, a fun game. If the patriarchy is such a bad thing, and you think that patriarchy is a problem, and you think the reason why we are in such hell is because of patriarchy, and you think it's such a bad thing for women, why don't you just give up all the things that patriarchy has given you as a person? Not a woman, but a person. Because patriarchy is bad, right? So how about you just give it all up? Give up your birth control. Give up your sanitation napkins. Don't use for bathrooms. Don't use transportation, public transportation. Don't use cars. Get yourself a horse and buggy, right? Don't use don't go to work. Can't go to work because going to work will be a bad thing because half of you motherfuckers got your job because of affirmative action, not because you deserved it, but because there was a quota that needed to be filled. So those of you who got the jobs because a quota needed to be filled, don't show up to work tomorrow, right? Because patriarchy made all that possible. It was patriarchy that gave you all that, you dummy. So give it all up. And then once you give it all up, give all the men that died on the battlefield to keep this country safe and free from harm, give them their lives back. All right? Give them their fucking lives back. Give up your Medicaid and your health insurance to the next fucking veteran that's sitting on the street waiting to be seen by a mental medical doctor. So they can fix their fucking shell shock issue. So they can go back to work where people don't want them because they're afraid they might have a relapse. Give up your fucking privilege, right? Give up your spot in college to somebody that's smarter and more enlightened, and more deserving of the job of that position, who can't afford it. Give it up to that person. And when you do all of that, then come back to me and scream to me that patriarchy is a problem. But guess what? You won't do it. You want to know why? Because you don't want to be, what's the word? Sorry. You don't want to be, oh my God, disadvantaged like that. You don't. All right. It's a fucking chore to give up everything that the patriarchy has given you. All right. It's too convenient for you to scream at the top of your lungs about patriarchy and then turn right around and use the very thing that you say is a problem. Give it up. And then maybe I will listen to you. Until then, you're just a fucking hypocrite to me. I'm sorry. And that's exactly what I told her. I said, until you give up all those things, you're just another hypocrite. I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be brash, but it's the truth. You are going to a place using technology and transportation that all was created by the very thing you speak against. And yet you want me to believe your points? No, there's no such thing as a patriarchy, sweetheart. If you want to talk about the top 1% of men that are in power, guess what, honey? They are oppressing men too. Because the men that are under them do not have the privilege to party with them. Just because I'm a man doesn't mean I get to get into that fucking 1%. I have to bust my ass to get there, and trust me, they're going to fight me to the death to make sure I don't take their position. I am in the same fucking boat as you are as a woman. The same, worse off even, because I don't get the type of advancements that you get. I actually have to be good at what I do to get a job. I actually have to be good. Well, as a black man, I might have some privileges because of that, which I really don't want. But at the end of the day, as a man in general, I have to be good at what I do to get those positions. I have to be good. There's no question. I have to be good. I have to be accountable. I have to be dependable, and I damn sure got to be accurate with what I do. I have to be. There's no question. If not, I'm gonna lose my fucking job to one of you. So please do me that favor. Give up all the stuff that patriarchy is giving you. Then we can talk.